like, she's going to laugh at my Excel document.
That's a huge statement.
Why couldn't Ainsley do bowling?
That's Joe.
That's Rooster.
And this is the Together We Shall podcast. 61. What's up?
That was Roger Maris, right?
Yeah, I think you would know. If I was phoning a friend, I would phone you. If someone says, who wore number 61, I would call you.
No, not
So
war number 61. 61 home runs.
See, well, that's why I would call you.
I feel like our guest might know too.
Probably, but you're like Googling it now. So I'll be here when you get back.
61. Yeah, all right, good.
Yeah.
Man, I was worried. I was like, shit, we're going to have to start this all over. Like, I can't leak that I didn't know that.
It can't be documented. So Roger
Yeah.
Maris, listeners, 61 home runs, which is a lot of home runs. If you don't know anything about baseball, that's a lot of home runs, especially back then.
Yes.
And why especially back then? What are the top 3 reasons that back then made that much more of an accomplishment?
The bats have improved and steroids. I mean,
The bats and the drugs. That's perfect.
have you heard about the no limit games in Vegas and letting people compete without any testing? So people are going to go in there, roid it out, and just see how much you can like lift and run and everything like that. And it's just like that. Why are we doing that?
Well, the why is so you now have a list of names that are banned from professional sports, at least for 3 years. See, there's a trick to this, you know.
Fair.
I don't know. Dude, the new year, how's it treating you so far, man? Like, I mean, I forced you to do 2 episodes in the first month of 2026. And so how's that treating you?
It's so far so good. I mean, the only thing that's not treating me well this new year is that the weather. It's getting cold, and now we got a polar vortex or whatever they're calling it coming this weekend. I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm supposed to fly to Indianapolis on Monday for the Allied Development Program kickoff, and I'd be lying if I say I wasn't watching the weather thinking, not again, because we were supposed to go to California last year, and the fires stopped us from going. So we might just be a virtual thing, bro.
Frosty 5K is looking a little
Frosty.
iffy.
Yeah. Well, that's
yeah. Oh yeah. It's looking frosty.
Yeah, that's Saturday, and you might have 3 inches of ice in Wilmington for that, maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'll be camping outside.
Oh, that's right, because you're doing the whole Scouts of America experience. Yeah. Okay. Well, Semper Fi, Devil Dog. You enjoy. Anyway, okay, man. Let's get into 61. Our kind guest is sitting quietly in her car somewhere in America, waiting for us to let her talk. The best way that I can do the introduction is like why is Tricia Benton on the show? Why is she here? Well, if I'm being honest, it's because I've been wanting to get her on for a long time, but it's just never matched up. And when you and I were talking a couple weeks ago, I'm like, dude, we have guests. We'll just get all the Joe Orth Award winners and get them to come on. And we're like, boom, Tricia, perfect. So friends that are listening, Joe, tell everybody what the Joe Orth Award is, because our guest was the 2023 recipient. What is that?
Yeah, the Joe Orth Award is awarded annually to the top performing member in Ainsley's Angels of America at a leadership level.
And so that's a pretty big statement. So without further ado, how about our top performing member in 2023 at a leadership level, Tricia Benton? Welcome to the Together We Shall podcast.
Thank you for having me.
We always like to start off with like, who are you? Which we've already kind of covered that. Where are you? And why do you think you're an episode guest on this podcast? So the questions to you is, where are you physically located, and why do you think you're here on the show?
I am physically located in my car in Southern California. I live in Carlsbad. Why do I think I'm on the show? I don't know. I think that I've grown Southern California over the last couple of years pretty significantly. And I think we do a good job out here, and we're sort of isolated from everybody else. So we do our own thing, but I still think that we, make a splash.
Okay. That's fair. Well, the reason that you're on the show is that, but it's also a couple of other things. Like, you're a badass, and we like hearing stories about badasses, if I could be blunt. So, Rooster, what do you mean that Tricia is a badass? Well, I asked AI to help me, and apparently,
God.
as a native of Southern California who went on to play collegiate soccer at the University of San Francisco, something I did not know. I'm putting myself on report there. Who then goes across country to Boston, finds her husband Tom, has 3 kids, and then becomes this advocate that the world really, I don't know, has seen from someone just jumping into the deep end. It says that you're associated with Ainsley's Angels, and we already covered that. But it also says that you've been recognized by the Association of California School Administrators for being a badass. It also says that you're you go on the news all the time, the Coast News, and for World Down Syndrome Day and Carlsbad 5000. You're a Carlsbad Chamber of Commerce member, where you've brought Ainsley's Angels there in 2025. It goes on to talk about all your children and the great things that they've done. And then I was like, well, one thing AI isn't mentioning is this book. So, Joe, there's this book that was created called Innovate, which is really just a cool project. And I'm going to ask Tricia to tell us about it. But, Joe, on page 55, yes, 55, which is the last page of the book, it says, and Tricia Benton for showing us to lead with our hearts and to never take no for an answer. That's why you're on the show, friend. That's why. So,
All right.
let's talk about all that. Joe, what do you think about all that? Did you learn anything new?
I don't know if I learned anything new. No.
Well, and honest, Joe was out here, so we got time to hang out and talk about life and where we came from. So,
indeed, talk about meniscus surgeries and trying to recover from those, which as of an hour ago I am fully cleared, so look out.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, Nick is ready.
Instead of badass, you should have said rad.
Why should I have said that?
Do you
I'm
remember,
from California and I say rad, and Joe hates it.
but I say dope, and she's like, that's the East Coast version.
I mean, both dope and rad are ancient. So, and I'm older than you all. So I don't know.
I think we're about the same age, actually.
Oh, really? You were born in 76?
77. Close enough.
So yeah, close enough. Anyway, you're never supposed to ask people their age, and I didn't ask you your age.
I don't care. I'll tell you my age.
She doesn't care. So anyway, with all that stuff, like what the heck, dude? So what are you doing? Like today, what are you doing right now? Like why are you in your car? Like why are you well, here's another one. Why are you late to the podcast? Let's see where this goes.
First of all, not late. I confirmed yesterday with Joe that we were starting at 8 a.m. after my kids drop off, and I have it in writing that it says 8 a.m. So
the reason you have it in writing was because it's a typo, and because you have a droid, I was unable to edit that text. So
no, I said,
fault.
are we meeting at 7:30? And you said no, 8. So got it. I'm sitting in my car because my kitchen's getting remodeled and there's construction happening in my house, and it's super loud. And I spend a lot of time in my car. So.
Well, what motivated you to remodel your kitchen?
Just our house is kind of, I was telling this to Joe. We have like the perfect layout for Bailey. We have like a bedroom downstairs, a playroom, a bathroom, and we've looked at other houses and we just can't find anything that really fits what she would need. So we just decided to fix what we already have.
Okay, I like that. And now you're giving me a place to take the conversation. Who's Bailey?
Perfect. Bailey is my kick-ass kid. I kind of should back up because I sort of got thrown into this world with my older son. I have 3 kids. My first one was actually born at 24 weeks. We were on vacation in Boston visiting my in-laws. I went into labor, had him there, so I ended up staying in Boston with him for 99 days in the NICU. It was just crazy, but he had a ton of medical issues. He had a grade 4 brain hemorrhage on like day 3. So they told us he would likely never walk, never talk. He's now 20 years old. He's a sophomore in college, but we kind of went through the whole IEP thing with him, the therapies since day 1. So we kind of had a taste of what it was like to have a child with special needs. Because of everything we went through with him, we waited to have Bailey. We needed time to he just had so many medical issues, and then ended up getting I guess, I don't know, it sounds bad, but slammed like 10 times harder when we had her. So
Okay.
she was born at 28 weeks. And that literally changed our world. So it just, I had a really hard time actually for the first year of her life, because the prognosis was a lot worse, I guess. But my dad is a huge like part of my life, and we were sitting there talking one day, and he goes, "Why are you crying? Like, it's so upsetting to you about this." I'm like, "It sucks." And he's like, "What sucks?" I'm like, "This life." And he goes, "Sucks for you or her?" And I said, "Both." And he's like, "Well, then make a choice. Make it good. Give her a good life." And something on that day just clicked, and that's when I became an advocate for my kid.
Dude, I love that. I freaking love that.
Yep.
Like, okay, the podcast is over, ladies and gentlemen. We've got our 30-second soundbite. Like, damn it, that
Yeah.
was solid. And is your dad still with us today? Forgive me.
No, so he actually passed when Bailey was 1. So it was right in the midst of, he was going through cancer. She was born, he got to meet her. And yeah, that first year was really tough because I was losing my dad. I had this child with like significant medical stuff. And actually the day that my dad died, Bailey got admitted to the hospital, and it was just like this whirlwind. And I went to the hospital and I told them that my dad had just passed, and they're like, "Okay, but we really need to admit her." I'm like, "Can you give me 1 hour?" So they let me drive home, say goodbye to my dad, took her back to the hospital, and then it was like game on. We just, got to work taking care of her.
God.
Kind of crazy.
Okay.
That I did not.
Yeah,
know. That I did not.
Okay.
know.
Okay.
Yeah, it was funny because we were at the doctor the other day because she's had some medical issues in the last few months. And we were talking to the doctor, and she's like, "How long have we known each other?" I'm like, "I'll tell you exactly the day I met you. The day I met you was the day my dad died, and you admitted my daughter to the hospital." So kind of crazy.
So prior to your son's 24-week birth, and you mentioned an IEP, and for those of you that aren't aware, IEP is essentially a plan that's established for an individual so they can have proper milestones at different points in their journey, an individualized education plan. You mentioned that, and I'm curious though, what was your association with the special needs community prior to your son being born at 24 weeks, if any?
I mean, we grew up, our neighbor had Down syndrome, so we always grew up with her, and like she's been a part of our life forever. But really no association whatsoever. Got kind of thrown into this world and decided to just take it on.
Yeah, I was talking earlier about how had 3 kids and then jumped into advocacy. Like, I didn't realize just how much of a way of describing that is actually correct. Like, you just jump into the deep end and have been nonstop since. And so you've mentioned Bailey and you've mentioned complex medical needs, but like, is her primary diagnosis Down syndrome?
She actually has Down syndrome, cerebral palsy. So I call her my triple threat. She's got it all.
Okay.
She was born super premature. Same thing as my son. Kind of crazy. They both had the exact same brain hemorrhage. They had the exact same heart defect. They tell me that they're unrelated, but I mean, it's just kind of crazy. They both had it. So because of the brain hemorrhage is why she has CP. They also told us that she would never walk. And I had one doctor when she was 4 years old tell me there's no reason why she can't walk. And that's kind of all we needed to hear. And now she walks. She walked when she was 9.
The framing is so perfect. Not only what the doctor said about what you just mentioned, but even going back to what your dad said. For you or for her, all right, make a choice, make it a great life. Like, and I think that's a great takeaway for anybody that's listening, is like, we all going to go through these things, these challenges. Life's going to be thrown at us from all kinds of different directions. But ultimately, the takeaway I just got from those 2 very awesome, powerful, and relevant stories are, hey, it's about how you frame it. You got a choice in how you want to view it. Yeah, it's powerful. Now you have a 3rd child.
I do. So after my first 2, I was like, I am absolutely done. This wasn't meant to be. I'm not doing this again. And then 4 years later, found out I was pregnant with my younger son, and he has been like the biggest blessing. He is absolutely obsessed with Bailey. I mean, you want to talk about like an advocate. That kid is an advocate. Like, he was born with it, and he's great at school. He's great with Bailey. He comes to a lot of the races with us. He's at his school. He's in a program called Biking Friends. So they pair up the kids with special needs, and his best little buddy's got Down syndrome. And every day that I drop him off, I mean, the kid tackles him and like hugs him, and they hold hands at school. And he's in 6th grade. So like, at that age where, kids are kind of making fun of him and he just doesn't care. Like, that's his guy. So,
I love how you said he was born with it. He was born
yeah,
with being an advocate. He was born into this life this way. But
yeah.
the idea of like, are you born an advocate, or is this something you learn from those that are around you? I mean, that chicken egg.
I don't know,
What do
man.
you think?
I just feel like there was something in that kid from when he was just little. He knew something was different about Bailey, and he's just always gravitated. He's always helped her, like even as like a baby. It's like he just knew. It's crazy. We always talk about that. Like, I think like God gave him us because he knew we needed him. But I know Bailey needed him. And I mean, if anything ever happens to us, I don't ever worry. Like, I know she'll be taken care of by him.
That's huge.
And he's 12.
Well, yeah, hopefully he becomes a professional baseball player, and then that can help
Hopefully.
alleviate
And then he
some
can really
things as
take care of
well.
her.
Bailey goes to the same school, right?
Yes. So I actually held her back this year so they could be in middle school together, which is, one drop off, super easy. But more than anything, all his friends know her. They all love her. So, I mean, when she walks around the campus, like, she's got 100 kids that are like, hey, Bailey, hey, Bailey, hey. Like, she's just part of their life.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You mentioned him potentially become a professional baseball player. Can we go back to this collegiate soccer player thing? Like, how did I not ever know this about you and your journey at University of San Francisco? I don't know if I know anybody who's ever attended that university. So take us back to those days.
Down though. Yeah. So I grew up in Torrance, which is in LA. Played soccer my whole life. Played softball, played volleyball in high school. Just loved soccer. So I played at University of San Francisco. I got a scholarship. I was a 4-year starter. We traveled all across the United States, played like some of the best teams in the nation. Played a bunch of back then, like the girls were on the national team, because those are all the teams we were playing against. And then we actually went and played in Japan for 3 weeks. So that was pretty cool.
Like mainland?
Yeah, soccer was live.
Yeah. Mainland Japan, up near like Tokyo and on the main island.
So we played in Kyoto, which I don't know where that is. Kusatsu, Osaka, and Tokyo. We just like traveled all over.
And so doing math in public here, this was like, I don't know, at the turn of the century, maybe.
Don't worry about it, Rooster. I played 95 to 99.
So I too was in Japan in 95. And the thing that I often remember about my traveling back after being there for a year was I got a chance to travel back in time. Because when you leave Japan, you can leave there with today's newspaper. But by the time you get back, when you get back to California, it's yesterday still.
So we had a girl, it was her birthday. We left on August 6th in Japan, and then we got home on her birthday. So we got to celebrate it twice. So that was fun.
Yeah. That's brilliant. I like that part. I'm so curious where Joe's going to take us right now, because he seemed to be processing that time travel thing.
Now the processing of, and as I was waiting for, I don't know where you were in Japan, if you were on Okinawa or whatnot, and I was like waiting to see if like both were in mainland Japan at the same time.
No, I was there in 97. I was in 97 was when we went, so.
Okay. All right. Well, then it's not possible. Anyway. Yeah. Okay. Very good.
Do you like sushi?
So funny enough, I do now. When I went, I wish I had gone as an adult versus as a kid, because I was, 18 years old and I refused to eat any of the food that they gave us. So we lived on like rice and oranges for nearly 3 weeks. I wouldn't eat anything.
The parallels are ridiculous. The parallels are absolutely. When I was 18,
but I 19, now.
I didn't mess with the local food either. In fact, when I did, I put American yellow mustard on it all, and now I'm known for doing that with almost all of my meals. In fact, we had taco rice last night, which was inspired by my time in Japan, when I would get a taco rice meal instead of anything else and put mustard all over it. Anyway, but now, gosh, sushi. If I can have it every week.
Now I love sushi.
No, anyway, parallels are crazy. So I was looking through my emails in preparation for our chat here, and I always like to do that sometimes. I like to go type in a name and scroll to the first time I ever got an email. What?
5,000 emails from me.
Yeah, but I like to go back to like the first one. that I ever got, because it's telling sometimes. And
Uh-oh.
it appears that you're heavily involved with establishing like a golf day for Ainsley's Angels there in Carlsbad. And if I remember correctly, that is the first time that I met you in person. It was a golf tournament, and I think I had blue jeans on at your golf event. Do you remember that?
I sure do, actually.
What do you?
And you had a pink polo and your jeans on.
Yeah, I thought it was going to an event, but apparently that's not appropriate there in Carlsbad or any golf course.
Not golf attire. Nope,
Okay,
any golf
yeah.
course. You did have the
So-
collared shirt, so that was.
Yeah. So I guess I was then told to go over here in this little clubhouse area or something and like buy something other than my blue jeans, which was silly, Joe, because instead of wearing my dark blue jeans, which, you know, they didn't have holes, they were nice. They were a nice pair of dark blue jeans. Anyway, I'm not justifying it, but instead of wearing those, I purchased shorts. So somehow wearing shorts was more appropriate and presenting than was my dark blue jeans that I could wear to church.
It's California. That's what we do.
The golfing attire is weird, and it's changed significantly over the last like 15 years as well. I mean, Ricky Fowler, a professional golfer, has been known to wear some eccentric things. But yeah, I mean, on the PGA Tour, you still can't wear shorts. You can wear shorts in your practice round, but when the main thing starts Thursday, pants.
Well, I actually like that rule because you made me take my nice jeans off and put on shorts. So now I'm happy to hear that you can't wear shorts in the big show. But anyway, I'm putting myself on report here. I knew better, but I didn't. And I don't know. I just hope I didn't embarrass you too much.
No. Actually, you know what? I didn't really get a chance to talk to you much back then. I was like, I don't know. I was running around like crazy trying to get the golf stuff going. But that was the year that Bailey got her chair.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
you were there to give her chair.
That's right. That's right. And I figured I didn't embarrass. If I did embarrass you earlier in the day, I made up for it later that evening with a chair presentation. It was all good. And of course, you were a big helper for Ainsley's Angels in Southern California at the time, and I did some reflecting on it. And I'm like, Joe, trivia question, Joe, how long has Ainsley's Angels in Southern California existed? Don't overthink it. Just come with something.
2014.
That's a good. That actually might be accurate. It could have been 2013. It doesn't matter. It's tomato. But do you remember like who brought it there?
Laura.
No,
Shannon.
Tim Davis, who has gone on to become a doctor and pour a lot of his energy into Ainsley's Angels of America from a collegiate research standpoint. One of our presidential coin recipients and past podcast guest. He had a girlfriend. They were dating at the time? No.
Yeah, new too.
Yeah,
like,
and she had run. And Tricia, do you know this story?
I've heard a little bit.
So basically, Joe went to war and/or was in a unit with a guy named Tim Davis back in the day. And meanwhile, in Eastern Carolina, where Michelle Smith started Ainsley's Angels of Eastern Carolina, only our second location to ever exist, she was Ainsley's preschool teacher. There was a lady named Shannon who ran with Ainsley's Angels there. And then she met this guy named Tim, and then somehow each other or went with each other, not married, across the country to Camp Pendleton, where he got stationed or she got stationed or they got stationed. I don't know. And I remember as they were transiting across the country, I got a text or an email or something from Shannon saying that she was going to miss doing Ainsley's Angels stuff because she was moving to the other coast. And of course, and back in that day, I never missed an opportunity. Well, that's not a problem. That's not a problem at all. You will bring Ainsley's Angels with you. You will start. It was very bully-esque. I swear I'm not that bully as I used to be when it came to that. At least I'm telling myself that. Although fast forward the clock, like, I don't know, 7 years later, and I'm on the phone with Tricia, you will take over this ambassadorship. You can do it.
I know there was definitely a moment that I thought about letting it all go, but I love these families, and I don't know. I just couldn't watch it leave.
So she brought it there, and then Joe, you're right, Laura Pruitt Morano ended up taking over and doing the task there back when we were going through a lot of growth with our efforts. And then Robin and her son Andrew, they took over. They brought it, really expanded across the region, established some really good relationships. And in fact, she started her own nonprofit now. The left or right hand or some the Handed Angels, or I can't remember what it's called, but they're doing amazing work there in SoCal, so I've heard. And Tricia said, well, if that's the case, I'm going to take it. So and I'm going to run with it. So now that's how Tricia came to us at some point. I think it was 2023, early, which is remarkable.
2022, I think.
Late 22, which is remarkable for you to then receive the Joe Orth Award that following October of 23. It really is a remarkable thing. And I know you're humble about it and you may not understand the gravity of it, but for someone to only be an ambassador for a year to receive that, it's a testament to the grind and the effort that you put into this stuff. So thank you.
Thank you. That was a shock. I wasn't expecting that when we came out to Marine Corps.
Mhm. It's funny too, like you talk about like Tim and Shannon going to the West Coast, right? And Laura, like how we always say like the Marine Corps is a small place, but so is the special needs community, but the connections through there, right? And then like, Shay, going out to California and meeting Tricia, McSpirit,
Oh, we love
right?
Shay.
And it's like, it's funny how, like, not funny, but it's neat that like we have service members that can go from the East Coast to the West Coast and still, or the Southern Coast, right? Like Justin and Camden, right? And still be able to be involved. It's great. Christina out there, now as well.
Matt and Sean are back there now.
Back here, yeah.
Still running.
I think, and I don't know, Rooster, didn't you go over there to Little Creek recently and talk?
I'm going to Little Creek because I was invited. Matt invited me to go and talk to the School of Music.
At Duncan?
Yeah. To talk to the School of Music ahead of our Ainsley's Angels Race Series Heart and Soul 5K. That's going to be an inaugural event here in Virginia Beach at the end of March. So yeah, and when I first met him, it was actually at a race in Virginia Beach. And he goes, yeah, I came from SoCal and I know Tricia. And I was like, this is cool. This is really cool because I had always known about how the Marine Corps interwovenness of Ainsley's Angels, how real it is, obviously, but I haven't been exposed to it since retirement, really. And so to have that happen to me in recent times, it was just a reminder of, yeah, we're basically everywhere a Marine could be stationed.
Well, you weren't exposed to it because you were locked in a windowless hole for 20 years.
Yeah, I got out of that hole. Ladies and gentlemen, I was an intelligence professional, which means I didn't see the sun for a very long time. Yeah. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening so far in this fun show. We have to take pause because it's Miller time. And if there's anything that we've learned through the years, hydration is key. So we're with Tricia Benton. She's in her car. She's in California. And I'm curious here for Miller time. That time of the show where we say, get your favorite beverage, drink on it. If you're tube fed and you're listening, have your caregiver get you hooked up with something tasty. Tricia, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking a mocha from Starbucks.
Okay. Starbucks, not a sponsor.
I know.
Probably ever.
It's my
Let's be
go-to.
Yeah, Joe. I've been looking forward. I don't know if you came prepared for today or not, but in episode 60, we exposed you to some new thing. Are you prepared to talk about it today in Miller time?
I can talk about it. Yes. Yeah. Episode 60 was virtually exposed to no fizz Celsius.
Yes.
And I don't know, you might have put me on Celsius to begin with years ago, but then you definitely put me on the packets, right? Because the carbonation and it's cheaper. But then, yeah, that no fizz came out and I was like, man, that's great. And then we met a guy at Marine Corps Marathon last year who sent us some Celsius. And so I'm excited to have a no fizz Blue Raz Lemonade Celsius.
Hey, wait. We got to open them at the same time and they won't fizz. You ready? Yes. No
it didn't
fizz.
fizz, but it did like squirt onto my screen a little bit.
Wow. Peach mango green tea. What do you got?
Blue Raz lemonade, and that's like the only flavor in New Hanover County.
Okay.
But it's
Very good.
delicious. It's delicious.
So like we said last week, Celsius is not a sponsor yet, but they are, but they aren't. I don't even know I don't know what a sponsor is. Joe said they can't be a sponsor unless all of our listeners can get Celsius coupons. And I was like, man, that's awesome. I don't have any Celsius coupons for everyone. So, but Celsius is going to come to the Marine Corps Marathon and give our team some Celsius. So maybe we'll have some no fizz as part of that. So Tricia, are you coming to Marine Corps Marathon in October?
Maybe. Hopefully.
Well, now that there's Celsius, yes. Yes.
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
come.
definitely coming for
I'll
sure.
come all the way.
So if you were unsure, you didn't know how to set that up to where you could be part of the Marine Corps Marathon charity team, I got a guy who knows a guy who is the guy who can tell you right now. Joe, tell us how we can make this happen.
Ainsley'sAngels.org/run with the Marines, or joe@Ainsley'sAngels.org, or the link in the description. And we look forward to seeing you October 25th, 6th, depending on when you arrive, in Greater Washington, D.C., for the 51st running of the Marine Corps Marathon. Bibs are going fast.
Well, there you go. So fun. All right. Well, let's jump back in there. We have a guest who's joining us from her car, a mother of three, a collegiate soccer player, an advocate extraordinaire for all the people with disabilities, Tricia Benton. How are you enjoying your first experience on the Together We Shall podcast?
It's fun. I like your guys' banter.
You know, I think that our banter is great, and it's one of the things that I think attracted both of us to actually do this, because we thought people would enjoy the banter. But I feel like we've gotten away from the banter because we try to highlight so much of the stories that our guests have to tell. Do you feel that way, Joe?
Yeah. Because I mean, the first dozen or so, we didn't script anything, but we storyboarded those first 12 and tried to stick to 10 minutes of this, 10 minutes of that, yada yada yada. But now it's, I mean, I think we've had episodes where we didn't even scratch the surface of what that guest could have shared with us because of just fun banter and shenanigans.
So that's the sword. Like, the guests have so much to offer, but some people say, no, podcasts are good because the hosts have good banter, and I want to hear more of the banter. So I'm left saying,
I mean, that's what started the idea 10 years ago or whatever it was.
Yeah.
What we were going to call it, the X Factor or something ridiculous.
We had so many silly names. It's on our phone somewhere in a shared note. Yeah. We're two 12-year-old girls who text each other 17 times, 70 times a day. And, I will say that hasn't changed. Look, watch this Instagram. Or he sent me a text this morning. It's watch this moment from Triple Frontier, Netflix.com. And I click on it, and my damn Netflix says your device is not associated with your account. Are you shitting me? I pay $25 a month for this shit, and the person that pays for it, doesn't have his own device tied to the account. What is that?
But man, so that sucks for sure. That's the type of shit that keeps me up at night, makes me want to kick a cat. I don't know what to say there. I was going to say punch a baby, and I know that's not good, but I don't think anyone would understand the sarcasm from that and the movie reference, so I skipped it. But then I ended up saying it anyway. What I didn't know is from the Netflix app on your phone, whenever you can get back into it, you can trim and share those snippets. I had no idea you could do that. And it saves them into a folder for you in the app, not on your device. But that was cool. So hopefully you can get back in and see that.
I will look at it. And the thing that I wanted to add here is that I've never bought Netflix stock ever. But when Warner Brothers, who recently, Warner Brothers recently said, you know what? We're for sale. And Netflix came in and just as yesterday said that they were ready to buy it with cash. I was like, this is crazy. So I am now proud and loyal Netflix stockholder.
I think I am too then.
Yeah, dude. It's you will be if it's not a cash deal, if Netflix acquires Warner Brothers through stock and cash, you will become one. But if it's just cash, you won't unless you go out and buy Netflix stock. But my point here to the listeners is Netflix stock is in the low 80s right now. And I think it's buy. I think it's a buy opportunity, friends.
The stock market nerd in you, like, how does that cash deal work? Do they just walk across the floor with a suitcase? No, I know they do, but like that's how I envision something like that. But I know it's unfortunately not that exciting.
No, that would be cool. I think the differentiation is to say that we're going to electronically transfer billions of dollars to you and buy your whole company vis-a-vis cash and or stock exchange.
Yeah.
So
like, I'm not trying to poke a bear here, but like, do you save all your like financial files and back them up?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's good. I like that.
I mean, but
you know what, Joe?
Oh, wait. Are we bringing our guest in here? What happened, Tricia? Tell us a story.
We lost a file on our computer. It disappeared and it had years and years of information and it's not recoverable. So yeah, good times. So I asked Joe for his expertise in trying to relocate the file.
I feel like there's so much more to this story.
Start saving things now.
I don't know.
Just back your stuff up. That's all it is. Back it up.
Not only from a personal standpoint, but from like the organization, right? We are very grateful for our friends at Microsoft who have helped us out for a handful of years now. But like, where is the cloud? You know, like a data farm in Ohio or, you know, Nebraska or something. Like who's backing up the cloud? And I don't know, we need to get like Vishal back to like, right? There has to be somebody that backs up the cloud.
There's another connection. Tricia's like, Vishal. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, she knows Vishal. Like, friends.
What's even funnier is that not only from Ainsley's and he ran with us, but our kids actually play baseball. So I kept running into him at the baseball field on top of it.
Yeah.
I'm going to
I gotta get him to run with us again.
Yeah. How many times has he showed up? Because my records say once.
Well, it was once, but it's the Carlsbad race, which I'll have him do that one again. So
if everybody's confused, episode 34, Vishal joined us. His quote was, "There's only one way we accomplish things, and it's together." I was like, yeah, that's my guy. Anyway, he's an aviator, you know, back in the Marine Corps. Notice I said aviator, did my hair at the same time, Joe. Anyway, he's a Marine, and we had him on episode 34. I think if you're listening to this podcast, you should continue to listen to it until it's over, but then you should go listen to episode 34. Vishal's story is crazy. Tricia, do you know Vishal's story?
I don't actually.
So you will listen.
I'll have to go back and listen to episode 34.
Y'all got a big race coming up, Tricia, there in SoCal. Now,
yes.
I want you to tell us all about this, but I want the listeners to put their hat on that says, "Have I ever been to California? No, I haven't. Well, I want to go. When should I go?" Well, you should go to this thing that Tricia's about to tell you about.
Yep, Surf City, half marathon, full marathon, 5K, February 1st. In Huntington Beach, California. We actually have 2 angels from Texas coming out to join us. And my best friend is coming from South Carolina. And then Joe's coming.
Yeah, Joe's coming too. Your best friend. I like how you said that. And
Michael Warner, my new BFF.
I know. Anytime we get guests on that reference past guests, I get so excited. So Shelly and Michael Warner, we're on episode 7. I don't know if you've listened to that. You said you had listened to that, actually.
I listened to part of it, yeah.
Yeah, Michael's late wife, Shelly, was our ambassador in South Carolina, in the Myrtle Beach area. And now he's traveling the country all the way across the coast there to spend some time with Angels in SoCal, I think, and also to capture what's going to be happening there that weekend.
So we have 35 duos for the races. They do a beach mile, so we're using our Ainsley chair for the beach mile. The team from Texas is bringing their chair, so Joe gets to do the beach mile, push on the sand. And then we actually run the beer garden for 3 days, and we get 100% of those proceeds. So over the last 3 years that I took this over, we bought 4 chairs with the money we raised at Beer Garden. So it's just a fun event. They're a great company. They support us. They love us. They give us everything we want. They couldn't make it more easy for our riders to get there, our runners, everything. So it's a fun race. There's 18,000 people that participate. So it's a big race, and it just goes right along the coast in California.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And it's Joe's going this year. He went last year as well. And our guest from episode 59, Dan Cruz, will be there. So it looks like it's going to be one heck of a gathering.
And hopefully not an Arctic vortex or whatever.
No, I think you'll be good. It'll be like the 70s.
You know, I think you asked me, and so I went in 25, so it was probably 24. It would have been at Marine Corps Marathon when you got Joe Orth, where you were like, hey, come to Surf City. I was like, I don't want to travel anywhere now. Like, I got to get through this weekend, right? And then so I pondered it for a while, and I mean, California's far. Like we were saying, put your hat up. God bless that. That's a haul, especially from like a small town that's not a hub airport, right? Like it's a haul. But yeah, that race weekend is great. The relationship that you built with the race staff is top notch, and the way they take care of you. But the way you take care of your people through that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, taking care of everyone, pizza parties, zooming around on a scooter to make sure everyone's got what they need. Like that's why I'm going back, because it was such a fun time, and being able to see that community come together, and also to warm up a little bit for the weekend.
Yeah. Sorry, someone's calling me. I'm gonna hang up.
It's quite the testimonial day that you just gave there, Joe. That's very kind. A lot of kind.
And what are we at? 10 days, math in public, right? 10-ish days from being out there.
10
So
days.
as we start to share this, all you Southern Californians that are listening, if you're not coming to the race to participate, come drink some beer, and
yeah, we have like
a good cause.
30 volunteers working the beer garden. So I think everyone that I know in Southern California affiliated is going to be there.
And you're gonna kind of debut 2 new things.
We just got a new trailer finally. Well, it's in the process of being built, so we should have it the day before the race, which will be very exciting. And then we've got a bunch of new chairs.
I was going to ask you, how long have you been wanting to get a new trailer?
I'd say probably the last 2 years. We've just we have a 20-foot trailer, which I think that's a pretty good sized trailer. We have completely outgrown it. It is packed to the brim. We couldn't possibly fit anything else in it, so it's time. So we're getting a 24-foot trailer.
Okay. Well, congratulations on that. I know it's something that you've talked about a bit. And what were the other things that you're going to reveal? I think I talked over you there.
Well, we have 5 new chairs. So we've got the Blade that we won from November that'll be there, and then we bought.
Wait, you won a chair? How'd you win a chair?
I'm a very competitive person, and so if there is something on the line, I am going to win it. So we raised the most money for Giving Tuesday.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I think that chair is arriving today, if I'm not mistaken.
Today or I thought you said Thursday, so today or tomorrow.
Okay.
Well, that's
I
cool.
got a few days to get it together. Yeah, we got 2 new Axioms, 2 new Phoenix, and a Blade.
Man, I love it.
And we gave a chair to a family that we had one of our runners. Her son has autism, and she helped us secure a grant in order to get all this stuff. So shout out to Toyota of Carlsbad for sponsoring us.
Yeah. Wow. So Toyota of Carlsbad, a sponsor
for Southern California, but
for Southern California,
Toyota, you want T on the ticker, not a sponsor, but very proud and loyal Tundra drivers over here. So, look what I.
While Joe's stepping away, I want to clarify that T is not Toyota's ticker. T is AT&T.
Oh yeah.
I'm just.
But I got that too.
Oh wow, a replica of Joe's
present.
truck.
It's my truck.
Is your truck
everyone?
White?
Yeah.
For for everyone that can see the TV because you're watching on YouTube, Joe got a Christmas present. It's a replica of his truck, and now he doesn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Just put it on the floor. You were so excited to show us that, man, and then you just put it on
Yeah,
the floor.
and then like as I like got over there, I was like, it lost momentum like right here. I don't know. Plus, I almost did like stepped on. I got all the boys camping stuff is like hidden behind
Laid
that
out.
corner. You can kind of see stuff like poking out because like starting to prepare for that in 48 hours.
I will say you moved over there pretty quickly, so I concur with your doctors that you are cleared.
He's ready
Yep.
for a 5K.
Yeah.
That's right.
Actually, I think that the beach mile is going to be a little bit tougher because it's on the sand.
Yeah.
Speaking of the
Right.
beach mile, I need someone to capture video of that. So I don't know if that's going to be Joe while he's running or if you can help.
Michael Warner.
Yes. Horizontal video.
Michael is our official photographer for this event.
Somebody remind Mr. Warner that I need like 30 seconds of that because we got this new thing
said-
coming out that I'll promote right now real fast. It's called 10 Years Later. So it basically looks at Spotlight Saturday and all the content from January of 2016 and it presents it in 2026 through a filter of today. Huh?
And this is the first time it's being said publicly.
I know. Now I have to do it.
Yeah.
So you said
So anyway,
horizontally? Horizontally?
Yeah, well, because it's a long form video, yeah. So,
Okay.
so if you're hearing this and you're interested in what I just said, you gotta subscribe to the Ainsley's Angels YouTube channel. You don't have to, but because YouTube doesn't require you to subscribe to channels or even have an account to see the content. But if you subscribe to the Ainsley's Angels YouTube channel, you'll get notified whenever it's released. It's also where this thing lives if you want to watch. Because maybe you like to watch a podcast. Joe loves people that watch podcasts. It gets quiet. If you have nothing nice
My
to
hair
say,
looks
say
crazy. I'll put my hat back on. Yeah. No, I
anyway.
don't
All
necessarily.
right, Tricia. So tell us some more stuff that we don't know about. You've been hanging
Well,
out there.
I love you brought the book up. So I want to talk about that book for a quick second.
Very good. So it's called Innovate.
Innovate 8.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'll hold
It
it
was-
up. You talk.
Written by, so this was back when Bailey was in elementary school. They asked her to be on the robotics team, one of our friends, and I was like, I don't think she could actually do that. Like, she can't even hold a Lego. And they're like, no, we want to do our whole project based on Bailey. So for 2 full years, she was on this robotics team. Both projects they did were all geared towards her. And then the little girl decided to write a book about it. She was 10 years old. She wrote the book. She illustrated the whole book. They had it published. They sold 1,600 copies, and they gave us the money to buy a chair. So we actually have an Innovate 8 chair that rolls in all of our races. Yeah, and
That's
her
so
dad
cool.
runs with us. Her brother runs with us. She runs with us. They're an amazing family, but it was special because it was a group of kids that were 10 years old that saw that Bailey mattered and that she should be included. And not only did they include her, but like they're just, I don't know. That's what I wish all kids would be like.
Was this
Yeah.
the same event, or didn't you do some event where like they ran in the neighborhood?
Yeah. So we, back in the day, I think we were trying to do a race series here and COVID hit. So our race had to be done virtually. So I decided to do it in my neighborhood with all the kids from Innovate 8. So I set up a 5K course, and then the finish line was in my driveway. And I had like a big arch and like all this stuff. And so these kids just, did a little 5K. We actually had 50 people in my neighborhood running.
All these pictures are from the pictures in the book, and you can see they're wearing masks. So this was like during the pandemic,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yep. Right in the heart of COVID. So
There's an author's note in here, and it says this book was written in 2020, and she goes on to say, this book can be read by a parent to a child, a teacher to their students, or among friends. But then her final words are, I believe deep down everyone has a superpower. Find yours. Be your best you. And this is coming from a 10, 11-year-old. It's just so good. So
10-year-old.
good.
And what's
And-
crazy is that family is still with us. They still run with us. Their dad came out and did Marine Corps Marathon a couple years ago. They're just such a great family, and I think they truly believe in like the power of what Ainsley's Angels is, and they're always here to help us.
So this book was inspired by my friend Bailey Opal. Opal's the
Yep.
character in the book. It says Bailey has cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, autism. The doctor said she would never walk, but last year Bailey uncovered her superpower, walking. I'm like, dude, what? She participated in a race last year alongside her where she ran with 30 yards unassisted. Tell us about what it was to see Bailey run 30 yards unassisted, Mom.
I wouldn't necessarily call it running, but just being on her own 2 feet. I mean, when you're told that you're never going to walk, to see her stand independently, to see her take one step independently was kind of amazing. But at these races, these race directors like love our group, so they're pretty accommodating. So every race that it's safe enough to do so, we get her out of her chair and she walks that finish line by herself. And I get the same feeling every time I see it. Like I do tear up a lot because, you know, like when you have somebody tell you that they'll never do something and then you're watching them do it every month across a finish line with, you know, thousands of people cheering her on. It's pretty rad. Rad.
Rad. There you go. And so that was when she did that, that was before her big surgery to straighten everything out, right? Or no?
Great question. So she had that surgery in March of 20. No, it was, so she did it after.
Okay.
Yeah. She's had 2 pretty major hip surgeries, which last year she had her foot redone and it's like been life-changing. She's actually walking like somewhat with a normal gait, which we never thought we'd ever see.
Nice.
So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Is the Innovate Kindness Club still active? And can you still go to Principal Evans' office and register?
So obviously the principals have all changed at all the schools. They do still have the Kindness Club at our elementary school. They've now started it so those kids carried it over to middle school. So they have the Viking Friends is what they call it at the middle school where we're at right now.
The Viking Friends?
Because they're the Valley Vikings. That's their mascot. So it's called Viking Friends.
Yeah. Vikings weren't very friendly, but yeah.
But the other thing is that the same family, the mom started a coffee cart. And so at the elementary school, the kids would pair up with the kids with special needs. They would take orders from the teachers, make coffee, and then deliver it to the classes. So they have that still at the elementary school. And then they started the Viking Bean at our middle school. So it's crazy what like one little seed that this little girl planted, just it's spread like wildfire.
What do we anticipate for her future? I mean, is she a 9th grader, 10th grader now? What?
She's a sophomore. She's a cross country star. She's still an awesome kid. I wouldn't be shocked if she did something in the special needs community as an adult.
Mm-hmm. Well, perhaps we need to get her on the podcast. Sounds like an all-star. Well, if she listens to this and she gets to 1 hour, or actually minute 55, she'll be able to make a decision. Email podcast@ainsleysangels.org if you or anyone who can hear my voice want to nominate somebody to come on the show and or wants to join us yourself. Yeah, that's cool. I love that. What did it mean? And this is just a question I think I know the answer to, but I'm curious to how you respond. When the kids were starting this club, this social club, and it was first brought to your attention that this is something that they were considering or doing, did you go into it with any reservations? First part of my question.
Well, immediately I said no. I said, I totally appreciate you thinking of her. Like, she just can't, because it was a robotics club. So they had competitions. They had to build these robots, program them, do these like crazy things. And I'm like she'd be more of a disruption. She wouldn't be able to participate. You put a Lego in her, she's going to chuck it. Like, I just don't see how it's going to work. And funny enough, it's them that kept coming back to me. They're like, you're the one that always tells us don't take no for an answer. So we're not taking no for an answer. So yeah.
Wow.
Is that program just in that specific school, or is it a city, county wide thing?
It's a big thing in California, robotics. They have it at the high schools, elementary schools, a lot of competitions, a lot of like engineering type students that gear toward that. So it's a really big thing in California.
The same with the caring thing, or friends, Viking friends?
No, I mean, so I'm on I'm on a lot of different boards. I'm on this one. It's for the 14 school districts in our area. They all have different versions, but like we meet up, we just had a meeting last night. We meet up once a month and every district kind of talks about what they're doing and shares information. So some school districts are better than others. I definitely think Carlsbad has it, down pretty good. Their inclusion over the last 10 years has just skyrocketed. They do unified sports. And so I think we're lucky to live where we live. And I think a lot of people are moving into our district because they are so great for special ed. I wish all districts were this great, but they're not. So I'm happy where we are.
Why do you think that all the districts are not this great? What is holding us back? And if we say resources and money, okay, copy. But is there more to it than just that?
I do. I mean, obviously someone has to say yes, right? So someone has to be willing to do it. I go to principals and I have really good relationship with them and I ask for stuff. They have to say yes. If they say no, then it's a barrier. So I do think the inclusion thing has become much more of a topic over the last 10 years. So I think districts are getting better about it. I mean, there's some here that are just amazing. But yeah, I think it starts at the top. It's whoever's in charge. So I started a special ed advisory committee with Carlsbad when Bailey was in kindergarten. I went to them, not that I was threatening them, but I said, I could be one of two things for you. I could be your biggest advocate or your worst nightmare, like you pick. And luckily they picked advocate. And so I've worked with them for the last 10 years to make our district better. But it took our superintendent saying yes and our head of special ed saying yes and wanting to make these changes.
Did you really use those words? Is that really
100%.
you're going in?
100%. And you can ask them and we laugh about it now. So we had an issue, like there was an issue with Bailey in kindergarten, like a pretty big issue. I don't need to go into all the details of it, but I pulled her out of school and we sat at home for 6 weeks without a single phone call. Something happened to her at school. It was really bad. So that's when I went to him. I was like, listen, I will be one of two things for you. And I would have been a nightmare for them. And they chose wisely.
The context
so it's all
needed.
good.
Okay.
All good. We have a great relationship now. Like I'm on a lot of different committees. So I work with our superintendent. I've become great friends with the head of special ed. But it wasn't always just about Bailey. Like I told them, I want to fix this for all kids. Like I'm going to fix it for Bailey, but I want everyone to have what Bailey has. Like I want to fix it for everybody. And so when I go in there to help with things, I don't do it just for her. I do it for all these kids because I genuinely want. One of the things that the little girl that has the book said to me that kind of stuck with me, she said, kids with special needs have an umbrella. They have like their family and their friends. That's their umbrella. Bailey's got a canopy. Like I want everybody else to have a canopy, like a community of people that just like come. And I'm like, that's so true. Like she has so much more than a lot of these other kids have. And so I want that for everyone. And so that's my ultimate goal.
Dude,
There's a great like reference, the umbrella and the canopy.
Dude, I've never heard of that before. Write that time hack down. My gosh, we need to give that to Sylvia for the audiogram. My God, that's strong. And you said that Maura said that to you?
Maria, yeah.
Maria,
so when she said it, I was like,
sorry.
Yeah, but it was just crazy. I was like, oh my God, that's such a great analogy, and it was true because, Bailey, like in our community, Bailey, everywhere we go, people know her. People know my family's does a lot in the city, so we just know a lot of people, but not everybody has that. So
good gosh, Morea, like once again, the author of the book we've talked about for a little bit, the rising junior, who's got a future well beyond any of our imaginations right now. But you're telling she came to you with this analogy in like at 10, 11 years old, this canopy thing?
So we were in her, I totally remember what happened. We were in her backyard and we actually had the lady from Adaptive Star was there
Terry.
at her house. Yeah, so Terry was at her house and she was working with them on something, and she just kind of said it to me and I was like, oh my God, like that's crazy. Like I've never thought of it that way, but yeah, I remember exactly when I heard it in her backyard, and like I've used that analogy a bunch of times in our life and when I tell, stories.
And just because canopy is the only word sticking in my head right now, it was has a tent, but no, Bailey has a canopy. Was it tent comparison?
No, an umbrella. Like, so
Umbrella.
you got this small little umbrella that you
Thank
can
you.
hold, and it's your family. Like, you got this little,
Yeah.
it's just going to cover you.
Mhm.
But like,
Yeah.
Bailey's got a canopy. And I was like,
Yeah.
yes, she does. Like, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Man, that is really
So,
cool. Yeah, Terry
yeah.
Duran at Adaptive Star. Yeah, I remember that because I was tied into this project, this robotic thing at some point, and that's probably the
Yep.
email that I was referring to, where
Probably, yeah.
there was one on the golf tournament, and then a couple years later there was one about this thing, or maybe it was the other way around. Anyway, she traveled down there to like provide them some engineering assistance through the lens of Adaptive Star, which for our listeners who don't know, that's the company that makes the Ainsley, the AAA, the AAA chair, as well as the Axiom Racer and the Phoenix chair. So really cool. And I actually have her on my list, Joe. We gotta get Terry on here at some point. But maybe I'll tell her, hey, if you sponsor our Marine Corps Marathon charity tent, Adaptive Star, we'll bring you on the podcast and tell everybody all about it.
Man, yes. Terry,
Do
please
that.
sponsor
Okay.
our charity tent at Marine Corps Marathon and see, 50 of your chairs, rolling down to the start line. I remember the first time I met Terry, and was it the first time you met her too?
In Baton Rouge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She picked us up and we went to like meet a friend of yours at a restaurant that none of us, it was you, me, Terry, Sean, and Seamus. We had no idea where we were going. We were just going to meet like one of Rooster's like high school friends or something. It's like, hey, come to this restaurant. There was no Googling to like see what it was. We rolled in there and like runners, like shoes, and this was not the establishment for that. It was like white tablecloth, like everything was fancy. And
Yeah.
we sat down and had a
It
meal.
was like a Michelin 5-star experience. And in the moment, Tricia, I was foreshadowing for when I would show up at a golf course in blue jeans. So like any stand-up comedian, I had to bring us back to where we started. And I'm really proud of myself for that one. That was a really good one. Thank you both for
Way to
laughing.
tie it in.
Well, I've had a good time. This is why I love doing the show, man, because it's an opportunity to just deep dive on stories that I would have never heard. And it would take us a long, long time to get to California, me and Joe both, and then we'd have to like fence off everybody away from the three of us for an hour, which is impossible. So
Impossible.
why don't we just come on the pod, have a conversation, learn some things, and thank you for making the time amidst all the chaos. I mean, you had to drop the kids, you had a renovation, you got a chair coming via UPS from Scott, and you got a new trailer showing up, a big race weekend, a lot of stuff. Race weekend next weekend, right? A lot of stuff going
Yep.
on. So thanks for making the time,
Oh, thanks for having me.
Joe.
And
What
now
do
you
want
have
to
to
say?
come out to Serve City, Rooster. When are you going to come?
No, you know what? I'd be upset if you didn't use this opportunity to say that. So very good. I'm well aware. And I know that I would
Do you
feel like
need to come to California?
No, I need to come. I need to come see Ainsley's Angels in Southern California. I need to come to an event that's awesome, like Surf City. And I need to get out there. I'm tracking. It's well aware. And I also know that when I do go, I will feel like I belong, even if I'm wearing my blue jeans at the golf course. Couldn't help myself. It's just getting too easy at this point. No, but loud and clear. Joe, what do you want to say here as we start to wrap this one up? And then Tricia, we're going to give you the microphone with us on mute to take us to the final sprint.
Man, that with us on mute, that is not something you say too often.
Facts.
No, it was a good conversation. Happy to it worked out and you were able to jump on and we can have this conversation. And yeah, I'm pumped to be out there in whatever, a little less than 2 weeks and run on the sand and then do a little 5K and
Be
sell
my
some
equipment
beers.
manager?
Be the equipment manager. Thanks, Denny. But yeah.
He's still trying to make it. We'll see. He's working on it. My brother helps me with the chairs, but he recently moved to Hawaii, so I'm on my own with the chairs as of late. So
it's not
Joe's
a short drive to back home now.
Dude, Joe, I totally think you should like hit Justin Keeling up and be like, I'm coming to town, bring your truck, I need your help, and like integrate him into this thing in a way where he can never say no in the future because he loves all of it. Like that's what
Is he a Marine?
Yes, retired Master Sergeant. Yeah.
He was one of the ones that when you were looking for a driver commented.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I love having Camp Pendleton close by because I do have a situation where I have a bigger rider that, you know, I need to find people that can push him. And I've come to find that the Marines are great for that. So I was in a little bit of a bind for this race because the Marine that typically runs with us is being stationed somewhere else. So I reached out to Matt Duncan and a couple other people, and I've got 2 Marines that are going to push for Surf City.
So you reached out to Matt, who's in Virginia Beach, and said, I need 2 Marines. And then he reached out to his Marine network in California and found you some Marines.
Correct. Well, actually, he reached out to them. We ended up getting through John Escalante, who you guys know. He also did Marine. He filled in last minute for Marine Corps last year. So I had 3 different people working on it for me, 3 different Marines, and they came up with 2. So I've got 2 runners that I've never met, but they're showing up for Surf City to help us out.
That's awesome. I don't know where Justin Keeling is in his jogging running journey, but I do know that he hit me up for an ASICS code, which, by the way, listeners, if you can hear my voice and you want 40% off asics.com, just email podcast@ainsleysangels.org and we'll work to help you get that so you can use it on asics.com. But he asked for codes and he ordered some shoes, Joe. So not only can he help with equipment, but Justin might have to just finally become, I think he's pushed Ryder before. I think he might have helped me push Ainsley in a race at one point, honestly.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did Rock and Roll Virginia Beach one year.
Yeah. So
have him come to Surf City.
Yeah. So Joe's working on that, and maybe you can even get him to listen to the podcast because he's mentioned and talked about so much. He was the center for our flag football team, and I was the quarterback, which is always cool because I hadn't been a quarterback since elementary school, and then I was a center for all those years. But Justin was my center, and used to have fun doing that. Anyway, I digress. Boyce, tall Boyce. I'd put Boyce on an out route and Roger Fall, and I would just, anyway. Okay, I'm going on mute here, Tricia, because we want you to take us to the finish line.
I would just say that I'm happy that Ainsley's came into my life. I think it's sort of changed the trajectory of my life. I've spent a lot of time and effort these last few years, and it's become such a big part of our family. And I'm grateful for the opportunity that we have to have it out here in California.
We're done. This was good.
Yeah, we're done here.
Find your people, and if they make you feel sexy, even better.